When it launched back in 2014, Destiny did so with what many argued was a lack of content. However good the gameplay was, rinsing the same few missions over and over got old in a hurry, and without much of an incentive to keep people coming back. Most called the time of death on Destiny around the same time the loot cave turned a small alcove in Russia into a shooting gallery. Almost 2 years later, all of Destiny's additional content went on sale on PSN, and I found myself once again stepping into a world where wizards come from the moon and robots from Venus. When I logged back into Destiny for the first time in over a year, I did so expecting a ghost town. Destiny had its fair share of players back in its day, 30 million to be exact, but I would have somewhat wrongly, it seems, put money on most of them having burned out by now, frustrated by the glacial drip of endgame content as Bungie struggled to keep up with the demand. Perhaps these players, like me, are just back on the bandwagon following the PSN summer sale. Maybe they're trying to get back into the swing of things in time for the Rise of Iron expansion, or maybe they never left at all. Destiny was in many respects a disappointing game. Its lore was impenetrable, its features, few as they were just needlessly obtuse, and its endgame content dried up faster than a raindrop in the Sahara. It was a game that, despite 4 long years in the incubator, felt kind of unfinished. Somewhere between the sum of its parts was an incredible whole, but it hadn't been realised, and the result was a dissonant bundle of jigsaw pieces that didn't quite snap together to form a cohesive picture. After a few hours though, it became quite apparent that a lot had changed about Destiny, but much to my annoyance the tiller still hadn't employed a barber. Today's Destiny is by no means a different game from the one I played 2 years ago, but once I got my head around 2 years worth of updates, tweaked mechanics and new content, it did feel more refined, more assured of itself than before. That's not to say it's been made infallible. MMOs are a tricky business in general, and there are always going to be a good few kinks in need of an ironing. But it's reassuring to know that Bungie has been committed to making Destiny the best game it can be. The jigsaw, while still not quite all there yet, is finally starting to take on some semblance of sense. But for all Bungie's many updates to Destiny make it a better game, the main reason for players to dive back in is the expansions. While the first 2 add-ons just aren't all that great, they and the Taken King combined make Destiny a much stronger and richer package than it's ever been. That Destiny suffers from a lack of content just isn't a valid argument from its detractors anymore. While it remains to be seen whether the Rise of Iron expansion can keep the upward trend going, it does feel like Bungie has a much stronger understanding of the game they've created and of how to keep the momentum going. After being 2 years in the wild, Bungie's crossed off a good few items on Destiny's laundry list, and despite the long road ahead going into year 3, there were so many occasions, particularly during the Taken King expansion, where I caught a glimpse of the brilliance Destiny is capable of. Moments where reality slipped away and a man with a cloak and a shotgun that shoots fire took over. Such moments were occasionally inspired by the original game, especially during the Vault of Glass, but they felt like sad little reminders of the game Destiny could have been if it had successfully delivered on its original promise. 2 years on though, you can see the image Bungie had intended for Destiny. It isn't important that they made a lot of silly mistakes in the beginning. What matters is that they are learning from them. As my fireteam cut a path through the potential hull of the Dreadnought, as we fended off the hordes of harrowing monsters and the air seemed to swirl and churn like black ink, I could see the picture coming together. In these moments it no longer felt like I was catching fleeting images of the brilliant game Destiny was trying to be, but the one it had become.